Namaste. This is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today's the 17th of June, 2015. The following is the Vedic astrology reading for Dame Helen Mirren, based on the 26th of July, 1945, at 2 a.m. in London, England. So we know that Dame Helen Mirren is an English actor. She's won an Academy Award, 4 BAFTAs, 3 Golden Globes, 4 Emmy Awards, 2 Cannes Film Festival Best Actress Awards, and 1 Tony Award. In 2003, she received the Damehood for the services to the performing arts. She has 1 older sister. She has 1 younger brother. She married in December 1997 at the age of 52. She's never had any children. Now, using Vedic astrology from India and the sidereal zodiac, we see that in the first house she has the second sign of the zodiac ascending or rising. Let's go ahead and put this, show the signs and the house numbers. So we see that in the first house she has the second sign of Taurus ascending or rising at 28 degrees 27 minutes. So we know that the Taurus rising sign person is very earthy, practical, self-made, hardworking, truthful, loyal, and intellectual. She has Mars in the first house, and Mars rules the 12th house of foreign lands. So this brings some international recognition to her. And Venus in the first house gives her a very good appearance and appreciation for the fine arts, performing arts, and healing arts. In the second house, she has the third sign, Gemini, and this is Rahu, R-A-H-U, the northern node of the moon at 16 degrees, and Saturn at 23 degrees 45 minutes. Rahu in the second house gives a person magnetic personality, persuasive speech. Saturn gives the ability to measure one's words. And because Saturn rules his 10th house of Aquarius, which is the house of career, professional life, and karma, we would say that the ruler of professional life is in the house of wealth, status, and speech. For the Taurus-born rising sign, Saturn will never cause harm or the dreaded sati sati. Saturn rules this 9th house of Dharma and the 10th house of Karma. And this is a trine and this is a Kendra. So for the Taurus-born rising sign, Saturn becomes known as Dharma, Karma, Raj Yoga, Karaka, Kingly Yoga. So this confers wealth and status through her professional life. Sun in the 3rd house in the 4th sign of Cancer gives royal independence and royal ventures. This is also the house of communication, so royal speech as well. A very powerful sun, and Sun is in the sign of Cancer. I know in Western astrology her Sun is in Leo, but that's the tropical zodiac, and that's where the planets were positioned 2,000 plus years ago. On the date of her birth, if she asked an astronomer to calculate the position of the planets, the astronomer would use the sidereal zodiac, not the tropical zodiac. This is astronomically correct. So it's 9 degrees in the sign of Cancer. In the 4th house, she has the 5th sign, Leo, and this is Mercury in the 4th house. So this means that you can do some writing and intellectual studies at home. In the 5th house, she has the 6th sign Virgo, and Jupiter is sitting in the 5th house. So Jupiter is knowledge, and the 5th house is higher education. So she had very good education in the arts. 5th house is creative projects. See, it's children, which is procreation, so it's also creative projects. In the 6th house, she has the 7th sign Libra, ruled by Venus. Venus has come into the 1st house, so this gives her some power to overcome enemies and obstacles. In the 7th house, she has the 8th sign Scorpio, 8th house, 9th sign Sagittarius. Ketu sitting in the 9th house, in the 9th sign, in the 8th house of Sagittarius, is good for mystical experiences. In the 9th house, she has the 10th sign Capricorn, and this is Moon at 21 degrees. Notice that Moon is opposite the Sun, so this means that she was born during a full moon, and everybody notices a full moon. Look, there's a full moon outside. So full moon persons generally have public recognition, but they can have some bit of disconnect between their heart and their soul because they're opposite. See, if Moon was sitting with the Sun, it would be a new moon. Those people don't get the public recognition, but they do have integration of heart and soul. But Moon rules his 3rd house of independence, and it's in the house of divine grace, good luck, good fortune, and Dharma. 9th house is the house of Dharma, what we came to do this lifetime, and Moon is working with the public. So full Moon, working with the public. She would also do well with hotels, restaurants, import, export, teaching, and entertainment, social work, and psychology. So some good fortune connected with entertainment and her own self-initiatives and self-efforts. 10th house is the 11th sign Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. This is the house of karma, career, professional life, and Saturn is in the house of wealth and status. So it's a favorable planet, and this gives her a blessing in the 2nd house. 11th house is 12th sign Pisces, and 12th house is the 1st sign Aries. So Mars rules the 12th house of foreign lands, long-distance journeys and separations, and it's in the 1st house. Mars in the 1st house gives her tremendous courage. Venus gives her beauty and appreciation for the arts. Now, according to the systems approach to interpreting horoscopes, as developed by Professor V.K. Chowdhury in India, we say that of these 12 houses, 9 are favorable. So the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th, and 11th are favorable houses. 3 houses are not favorable, the 6th, 8th, and 12th house for any chart. Planets going into those houses become weak. Planets ruling those houses can, in some cases, cause adverse effects. So for the Taurus-born rising sign, the most favorable planets are Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Saturn. So it would be safe for Taurus-born rising sign persons to wear a ruby for the Sun, a pearl for the Moon, an emerald for the Mercury, and a blue sapphire for the Saturn. Taurus-born rising sign persons should never wear a diamond for Venus because Venus rules the 6th house. They should never wear a yellow sapphire for Jupiter because Jupiter rules the 8th house. And they should never wear a red coral gemstone for Mars because Mars rules the 12th house. So I do think that the royal sun in the 3rd house of communications and self-expression and independent projects, and the royal moon in the house of divine grace, good luck, good fortune, and Dharma, have contributed to her success. I also think her Dharma, Karma, Raj, Yoga planet Saturn in the house of wealth and status has contributed to her success. Now, if Rahu and Ketu, which are always opposite of each other, north and south nodes of the moon, were at 28 degrees, the ascendant degree, they would be causing harm. But they're not. They're 12 degrees off of the ascendant. And this Rahu and Ketu are Rahu by conjunction, Ketu by aspect, are 7 degrees from Saturn, causing no harm. And Ketu's ninth aspect into the fourth house causes no harm for Mercury because it's 10 degree separation. So we would say that Rahu and Ketu are benign in the chart. So Rahu in the second house gives this charismatic speech, this magnetic personality, persuasive speech, ambition, wealth, and status. When Rahu is well placed, it can give wealth and status, charisma, fame, and fortune. So she has that, no problem. It's not bothering Saturn. So these things are fine. So that contributed. The interest in the arts is Venus in the first house. The success with foreign lands is Mars in the first house. But there are a couple of other issues to discuss. Jupiter ruling husband and children is 1 degree in infant state and weak. So this can delay marriage or deny marriage. She didn't marry till she was 52 years old. No children. Now this is the 5th house of children, and this is Mercury. This is Virgo, so it's ruled by Mercury. So if Mercury's strong, it would give children. Well, this Mercury is well placed in Leo, so it's codependent on the strength of Sun, which is quite strong, which is codependent on the strength of Moon, which is quite strong. So at first blush, you might say, wow, this is a strong Moon, strong Sun, strong Mercury. Why doesn't she have children? And this is where systems approach comes into play. Mars for this chart rules his 12th house, so it's a functional malefic planet. It can cause harm. If it's closely conjunct another planet, in this case it's not with Venus. So if it's closely conjunct another planet or closely aspects another planet, it causes harm. And Mars aspects 4 houses away, 7 houses away, and 8 houses away. It's not bothering K2, it's not bothering the 7th house. But at 8 degrees, it's clearly bothering Mercury at 6 degrees. 2 degrees of separation. So Mars ruling the 12th house of losses is afflicting Mercury ruling in the 5th house of children. Now Jupiter rules his 8th house of Sagittarius, so it becomes the most malefic planet. Not a favorable planet for Taurus. This ascendant degree is 28 degrees, so basically this is the most effective point of every single house in the horoscope. So that means if there's 30 degrees in a sign, like say 0 starts here and 30 ends up here, so the 28 degrees is right about here. So Jupiter is very close to the 28 degrees, just moving backwards. This line is only an imaginary line. This is not a wall or something. So 28 degrees here is only 3 degrees from Jupiter at 1 degree here. So this influence of Jupiter is actually in this house, because this is the most effective point. So Jupiter rules obstructions, delays, setbacks, disappointments, and death-like experiences, and it is afflicting the 4th house. And that undermines the strength of Mercury ruling the 5th house of children. So that explains the issue with children. And the weakness of Jupiter, delays the marital bond. So Mars also rules younger brothers, and it's well placed. It's not on the most effective point, so it's not harming this house, so that can give her the younger brother. Let's just take a quick look at some of the timing of events here. So she's had a lot of success since her Saturn period began. It's 1987. Saturn is quite favorable for her. Now she's in Mercury, and Mercury is quite favorable for her. Mercury will never cause harm. It rules its multiple sign is Virgo. It falls in his 5th house and is sitting in the 4th house. And it's ruled by the strong sun, which is ruled by the strong moon. So these are favorable Mahadashas. The influence of Mars on Mercury can also cause some long distance travel. Now every planet has a Mahadasha, main period of time, ranging from 6 years to 20 years, depending on the planet. So she ran her 19 years of Saturn from November 87 to November 2006. Now she's in the 17 years of Mercury until November 2023. And within every main period, there are 9 sub-periods of shorter duration. These are called the operating planets. So she ran the 17 months of Moon from December 2013 to the end of May 2015. That's very favorable. That was a great 18-month period for her, 17-month period. Moon's in the house of divine grace. So, but I would advise that she is very vigilant this year, because now, just the beginning of June, she's gone into 1 year of Mars. And Mars, this planet, can cause harm. And it aspects Mercury, which is the respiratory canal. So she has to be very careful around pollution, and I hope she's not doing any smoking, because that would cause lung cancer. It can cause asthma, allergy, sinus, headaches, bronchitis, and it could cause Alzheimer, dementia, or Parkinson during this time as well. So if she was my client, I'd say do the twofold remedy. We're going to pacify Mars by helping men who are like brothers on Tuesdays. And she could listen to the chants for Hanuman on Tuesdays. And we need to strengthen Mercury. So she can wear an emerald gemstone. She should definitely be wearing an emerald gemstone for Mercury. She can wear a blue sapphire for Saturn, a ruby for the sun, and a large pearl for the moon. Those 4 gemstones would really help her with her health and her wealth, although has plenty of both of those. But she has to be careful, because Mars is the operating planet until the end of next May 2016. And it rules losses, expenses, hospitalization, confinement, depression, isolation, separation, and relocation. So you might have some relocation during this year. 12th ruler in the 4th house. Those are both connected with relocation. So she may just buy another piece of property or something. But there can be some losses and expenses connected with investments. Mars rules losses and expenses. Mercury rules the 5th house of investments. So she better be very careful with her investments this year as well. This looks good for her. The Rahu period from May 2016 to December 2018 is fine, because this is a very powerful, well-placed Rahu. The Jupiter subperiod can be delicate, because Jupiter for her is her most malefic planet, and it does afflict the 4th house of home life and property and happiness. It does afflict her 10th house of career, and it does afflict the 12th house. That can cause insomnia and separate sleeping arrangements with her spouse. So in 8 years from now and 5 months, she goes into 7 years of Ketu. And that's going to be about spirituality. So it should become much more reclusive. Okay, these are the main points for Dame Helen Mirren. Namaste.